Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. My name is Jim Landers, and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers just like you create an income with the passion that they have. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. For Digital Pro Lab, just go to digitalprolab.com. You can get all the information you need there, and you're going to be working with some fantastic people who love making you look like a hero to your clients. And of course, for Landers Photography School, me, landersphotoschool.com. You can find information about me and my classes on that page. If you've got any direct questions you want to ask me, hey, just ask me right here on right directly at jim@landersphotoschool.com. So jim@landersphotoschool.com. Man, I'm glad you guys are here with me today. Before I get into today's subject, I want to give you an opportunity to add your name to StreamYard. Now, you can see it going across the screen, right across the bottom right now. We use StreamYard to be able to simulcast this show to several different places, 5 Facebook pages, 2 YouTube channels, and a LinkedIn page. But the way that but because we're simulcast, we won't be able to see you unless you register. And that just means if you make a comment, I'll be able to know who it is. And that's helpful to me. You don't have to do that. If you want to remain anonymous, it'll say something like Facebook user when you participate. But either way, I still want you to participate throughout this show. I want you to ask questions. I want you to make comments. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to hit the love button. Let me know that you're there. And so that's how you do that. You see that going across the screen right now. Before leaving a comment, grant StreamYard permission by going to streamyard.com/Facebook. All right. Enough of that, because I want you to let me know that you're watching right now by going over to the comments and just entering in the comment hashtag live. Hashtag live. And I don't know why my autofocus isn't working, but I'm a little out of focus. And I know that's not just because I didn't get enough sleep last night. No, get something up with my camera. Wow. All right. Well, maybe I can trick it just a little bit. No, there. And, well, ooh, if I back up a little bit, that'll do the trick. Hey, whatever it takes, right? All right. So, let's see. I want you to, after you've hit hashtag live, letting me know that you're here. I also want you to do me a favor and hit share, letting other people know that the show is going on. So do me a favor, help the show out by clicking share. That helps more people know about the Portrait Profits Show. So we want to share this kind of good stuff. It helps you. It helps me. It's a win-win. Let other people know. Share the Portrait Profits Show. All right. So today we're talking about to be interesting, be interested. That is today's topic. It's an interesting topic because I have a story that goes along with this. And I'm not going to tell the story right off the bat, but it'll be very, very soon. So let me get that off the screen out while I bring up my script. There we go. So the whether you're starting out or growing, this show is meant to equip you with the tools to master the business side of photography. So today we're going to discover how being genuinely interested in your clients transforms your business to create unforgettable portraits. Now, you already know that paying attention to your clients is important. That's not anything new. What may be new is how I go about doing that. And I'm going to share that with you today. I'm going to share why I have this opinion. I'm going to share how to apply it. And I'm going to show you an instance where I applied it. And so you can get the reaction of, so you can hear the reaction of the person that I worked with, and a person, a client that I worked with. So to be more interesting, be more interested. Curiosity shared is the most interesting trait that you can cultivate. And I don't know who wrote that. I don't recall where I heard that. I don't think I'm the one that said it. But I looked and I couldn't find who said it. But I know I've heard it somewhere. So I'll repeat it one more time, just in case you know. And let me know if you know who said this. Curiosity shared is the most interesting trait that you can cultivate. I have found that you can make the perception of yourself more interesting when you become more interested in others. I'll share a story to illustrate this. And afterwards, I'll share how this benefits both you and your clients. All right. About 3 or 4 years into being a full time photographer. So this is a number of years ago. So this would be back in 94, 95, a few months before I owned my first cell phone, because it was in 95 when I got my first cell phone. I remember that because I didn't have anything to do as I was sitting waiting for my flight. If I remember correctly, I was waiting on a connecting flight in DFW on my way to Minneapolis for some training on the business side of photography. The place was full of activity, but it wasn't loud. It was, I was just sitting there checking out the environment, watching CNN. By the way, the CNN was only available at airports at the time, and that's the logo that they used. And the just a little side note, DFW was the first airport to have CNN shown throughout the airport beginning in 1991. So this has been a few years after that. And it was called CNN Airport Network back then. And that actually existed until not that long ago. It changed its logo in 2010, but I think when they stopped doing the airport network in 2020, 2021 range. But anyway, 2 seats away from me, and a little bit closer to the wall, was a fellow traveler who was probably in his 50s. I was in my 20s then, so I was not a good judge of age. I'm still not. But he was wearing mostly dark business clothes. He had a large black coat with him, a carry-on suitcase. He looked kind of bored as well, like me. I mean, we were just sitting there watching CNN. So I struck up a conversation and I used the deep and wide approach, which I often do, starting with a broad question, wide, then something that caught my interest I'd want to go a little bit deeper into. So this man wasn't very talkative, especially not at first, but he did respond to my questions. He had no noticeable body language indicators. He didn't perk up. He didn't lean in. There were no smiles. There was the occasional nod, but no facial expressions. Really at all. So nothing that indicated engagement in the conversation other than he was answering my questions, although they were short responses. So there wasn't much to this conversation. I mean, as a curious person, it was interesting to hear another person's responses, but I would not describe this as a notable conversation. I don't remember what we talked about, but I am sure I asked the usual waiting area questions like, are you from here? Where are you headed? What do you do? Etc. I never got his name. And while I don't remember where he was going, I do remember that he was not going to the same place as me. After no more than 20 minutes, his flight was boarding. And as he got up to leave, he commented. He said, you know, you're one of the most interesting people I've ever met. Then he headed towards his gate and headed off to his plane. I was struck by that comment. How could I be interesting? I had mostly just asked him questions and barely shared anything about myself. I wondered if maybe not many people had taken the time to ask him for his opinion, or how he was feeling. I don't know. Upon reflection, I concluded that he may have found me interesting because I took an interest in him. That experience taught me that genuine interest, curiosity, and being an engaged listener is really what makes for rewarding relationships. And this applies so well to connecting with photography clients. Of course, it requires more than just curiosity because our clear communication about your services and experience is essential. From the interest you show to the questions you ask to the vocabulary you use, how you communicate with your clients is one of the most important tools that shapes the perception people will have of working with you. Here's a key premise: success begins by defining what you want, just like planning a road trip. You start with identifying your destination so you can then map out how you're going to get there. Today, I want to focus on applying this principle to better communicate and connect with your clients. It starts with being truly interested in understanding who they are and what your clients desire from their photography session and their overall experience with you. When clients feel heard and appreciated, they're building trust and comfort, a level of comfort, the foundations of any great relationship. Today, I'll talk about specific open minded questions to ask during planning sessions. My goal is to provide actionable techniques to help you be perceived as interested, not just interesting. We all do a good job in the About Me section of our website, usually, in making ourselves look interesting. But do we do a good job of conveying that we're interested? After today, you will. Leading to 5-star client experiences and relationships that drive referrals. If you can see how this could be beneficial, take a moment and hit the like button for me. Hit that like button or the love button if you're feeling it, but hit that like button. Let me know as we go through this show today. Are you, well, as you're feeling empowered and energized, I'd love to see you express your gratitude and excitement through comments, as well as likes and loves. Let it out. I want to hear from you. I want to know you're watching. I want to know it's just not me staring at a camera, hoping that I'm sharing some good stuff. Let me know that I am. All right. Next thing is asking thoughtful questions. I'm going to put that on the screen. There we go. If you're just doing mini sessions, just that, this today may be more than what you want, but I still think it's valuable. But if you do customized sessions for your clients, getting to know your client is essential for delivering an incredible portrait experience that's tailored to them. Asking thoughtful, open minded questions allows clients to share meaningful insights far better than questions that just have yes or no responses. Let me give you some examples, and I'll put this up on the screen. I'm going to give you some examples of open ended questions. And that might be just a little too small for you to see, depending on what screen you're looking at. So I'll make it just a bit bigger. There we go. Can I make it bigger than that? Bet I can. Let's see. But I cover up part of it. There we go. All right. Here's some examples of open-ended questions. Why are you thinking of having these portraits created at this time? How about what's most important to you about? I do family portraits. So what's most important to you about your family? And you put into that spot whatever it is that you're photographing. So if that's a high school senior or a boudoir session, what's most important to you about, fill in that blank. And don't enter in the word photography. It's too soon for that. You haven't gotten to that yet. How about this one? How would you describe your family's personality and what you want to capture? If you had a Saturday with nothing on the schedule, all the task list items were complete, no financial concerns, what would you do with that day? How about this one? If budget was no concern, can you describe an experience that would exceed your dreams? Using a deep and wide technique, start with broader questions. And as you hear something interesting, then dig deeper. Of course, that means you have to listen closely to them and identify follow up questions based on their responses to your questions. Your clients are going to reveal priorities, emotions, and goals that allow you to understand their desires, their direction, their personality. Awkward silence? That's a good thing. Quit trying to avoid it. Ask your question and then be silent. Allow them the time they need for thoughtful responses. Show genuine interest in who they are beyond the business of creating images for them. That's what other photographers do. Establishing comfort enables clients to open up about aspirations for themselves, opening up your understanding of them so you can more accurately create customized portraits. Do you agree with that? If so, do me a favor, go over to the comments and just write the word yes, or click the like button if that's easier for you. Do you agree with that? When clients feel truly heard and understood, you build and strengthen relationships. Thoughtful questions lay the groundwork for an amazing customized portrait experience, as well as portraits that portray them. Not the cookie cutter approach that most photographers unknowingly do. Because there's very few photographers that would say I strive to have a cookie cutter approach. But you are not customizing for your clients if you go to the same places for every single client. If you're just replacing the faces, but the places stay the same, you are not customizing. You are cookie cutter approach. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just pointing out that it's not customized. It's cookie cutter. And it's fine if that's your choice. I just want to make sure you know it's your choice. Your goal is to portray them, not to put them in the same pretty place that you took your other clients to if your goal is to customize. So again, I'm not saying this is not good. I'm saying that it's not custom if you go to the same places every single time. So when a photographer says, what's the best place to do a senior portrait? The best place is to ask your client what motivates them. Where do they have emotional connections to? That's the best place if you're going to create custom work. I'm going to share with you a client's story. Let me share a specific example of one of my own clients because I feel that sharing an example of the importance of being interested in your clients and asking questions is going to lead to more unexpected opportunities to let your passion shine. I hope that this story that I'm about to share with you illustrates my point of taking the time to understand your clients on a deeper level, how that can lead to truly emotional and unique portraits. Ali called saying that she wanted to have a portrait made, but she didn't really know what she wanted. She knew she wanted to look good. She knew she wanted the image to portray her personality. But beyond that, she really didn't know. But that's all I need so that together we could discover what we would do. After a handful of questions, I narrowed it down. I discovered that she was into 1930s and 40s retro. No way could I have known that without sitting down and giving her my time and attention. If I didn't ask the questions that I asked, I would have created beautiful images that she was happy with, but they would have looked pretty much the same as what other regular photographers would have created for her. You might have had similar experiences with clients who weren't sure with what they wanted. How did you handle it? If you're doing customized work, how did you handle it? What questions did you ask? What did you come to? Can you give me an interesting story? Share it in the comments. Let me know. How did you handle it? I assume that you've all encountered this multiple times where you were working with a client that didn't quite know what to do, what they wanted in this photograph. How did you handle it? What did you do? What did you say? What conclusion did you come to? Share it in the comments. I don't remember the exact questions or the discussion that we had that led me to uncover her fascination with the 30s and 40s. But I can tell you that I asked a series of open-ended questions that gradually led to her personality and preferences. I'm going to suggest questions that I might have asked. I'm going to share these with you, but I wouldn't have asked all of these. These are just questions that I might have asked based on her responses. So I'm just going to give you a series of different questions I could have asked. Again, there's no reason I would ask every single one of these because they overlap. But I just want to get you thinking about what questions I could have asked that would have caused me to narrow down her interests. So, in addition to the questions that I mentioned before, those open ended questions that you saw earlier, here's some examples that I might have asked her specifically. And I'm going to take that off so I fall below. There we go. When you imagine an ideal portrait, how would you describe the mood and message you'd convey? Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of work that are important or interesting to you? Are there any specific memories or experiences that hold specific significance for you? Tell me about your personal style. Do you have any specific styles or aesthetics that you're drawn to when it comes to fashion or design? Are there any colors, textures, or visual elements that resonate with you on a personal level? Are there any movies, books, TV shows that you love? And what is it that you enjoy about them? Are there any fashion icons or historical figures that whose style that you admire? If you could step back in time and experience a period in history, which one would it be and why? Tell me about your favorite time periods in history. Are there any decades that you find fascinating? When you think of the word classic, what comes to mind for you? So these are just a handful of examples of questions that I might ask that helped me to discover that she was interested in the 1930s and 40s. By asking questions like these, actively listening to her responses, and taking notes, I gradually uncovered her interests. Asking questions that uncover interests and preferences not only demonstrates your genuine curiosity about your client, but it also helps you tailor the portrait session to their unique style, which results in a highly personalized and emotional experience for your client. And isn't that what you would say you wanted for your clients? You want them to have a good experience with you. Finding out who they are, showing that you're interested, definitely makes that happen. Am I right? Give me a yes in the comments. Interact with me. Let me know. I can see a bunch of you have already. Since I looked last, there's 10 more. Geez, thank you guys. I appreciate that interaction. So you might be curious about that photograph that I ended up with, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm determining in my mind, do I want to share it with you right now or after I have shared their reaction to it? I think I'll share it in the story as it happens. So here is my client's reaction. What I'm about to share with you happened in just a matter of seconds. It's going to take me longer to say it than it actually happened. We were in my front office. Her print was on an easel where she couldn't see it yet. Allie's grandmother, much younger than a stereotypical grandmother, stood at her side, slightly behind, with a gentle smile, and exuded a sense of wisdom and grace. The room filled with anticipation. I turned the easel so that she could see it. There it is. She held her breath for a moment, her eyes fixed on the portrait. It seemed she had trouble catching her breath. Did she hate it? Did she love it? I couldn't tell. Just then I saw tears well up in her eyes, and they cascaded down her cheeks as she turned towards her grandmother. Her eyes filled with warmth. Glistening with pride and love, she watched her granddaughter's emotional reaction, both now in tears. Allie turned and looked deep into my eyes, silent for a moment. Then her lips trembled as she whispered, "This is more than I imagined." Her grandmother nodded in agreement. And in that shared moment of silent understanding, I realized that the portrait had not only touched my client's heart, but had also created a beautiful connection between generations. Are you feeling this, guys? If so, tell me in the comments. Say, "I'm feeling this." Or at least just say yes. In that moment, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment and fulfillment as a photographer. It was as if all the pieces had fallen into place, not just in the portrait of not just because of the portrait that my client loved, but the connection that was built. It was a testament of the power of genuine curiosity and being interested in my client's story. Seeing her emotional reaction was like witnessing the culmination of an artistic journey. It wasn't just about creating a beautiful image, it was about capturing her essence, her interests, the unique facets of her personality. I had successfully translated her vision into a work of art that resonated deeply with her and brought her closer to her grandmother, who she clearly loved dearly. But it was more than just professional satisfaction. It was a reminder of why I became a photographer in the first place. It was about creating moments that transcended the ordinary and became treasured memories. Each time I experience a moment like this, I am reinforced in my approach. Not only that my approach not only meets my client's expectations, but exceeds them. The tears she shed were tears of joy and appreciation. It was a reminder that photography is not just about taking pictures. It's about touching lives. It's about evoking emotions. If you're curious, that wasn't the only photograph that I showed her. Here's another one that I shared with her. But only that first one was printed as a wall portrait. This was printed as a smaller size. What do you guys feel about this? Let me know in the comments. Again, I'm sure there's many times when you've come across clients who didn't know what they wanted to do. I mean, they know the basics. They know they want to look good. They want a good smile. They want their eyes to look open. They want their hair to look good. But beyond that, well, beyond that is us. That's our job. Again, if we're creating custom work, cookie cutter work is fine. It has its place. I'm just not talking about the cookie cutter side right now. I will be, though, in 2 weeks from now. I will be talking about a cookie cutter option, and it is a viable, good option. But today I'm talking about custom work, where you are spending time with your clients, learning who they are, building that relationship. I'm looking through some of the comments here. In fact, I might put a couple of them here. This is interesting. Thank you for sharing this. It doesn't show me who said it, but if I'm sure online it'll tell me exactly. Sorry, it doesn't. I can't say your name, but thank you for putting this. But you can read this, but I'm going to read it here anyway. Dale Carnegie would agree. Be genuinely interested in other people, remembering a person's name, asking them questions that encourage them to talk about themselves, so you discover their interests and passions, what their interests and passions are. What people what make people believe you like them, so they in turn they like you. Carnegie writes, you make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people to be interested in you. And I guess it ran out of space there. Okay, well, thank you for adding that. And let's see. Alexander, thank you for sharing this. I'm referenced to open-ended questions I learned from a teacher at Trinity United Methodist School. When my kindergarten child showed me her drawing and gave it to me, my response was, "What is this?" The teacher corrected me and said, "No, Alex, we don't ask. We don't ask like that. We say, 'Tell me about it.'" I've used this so many times with kids and adults. Sometimes I get responses I wasn't expecting. That's a good one. And thank you for sharing that. For those of you who don't know, Alex and I had kids together in that class. So we've known each other for a few years. Thank you for sharing that, Alex. I love it. And Melissa asks, do you think asking for their Instagram would help in discovering their personality? It does. And that is, depending on what I'm trying to do, I may absolutely need that or feel the need for it. I may also not want that. It depends. Initially, if I know I'm going to create something custom for them, I'd rather just have that initial meeting without knowing anything about them, because I don't want to influence my questions. I want to just have a discovery and allow them to be who they are, because sometimes people's online persona is different than who they are in person. And my goal is to portray who they actually are, not their online persona, generally speaking. but sometimes it absolutely is their online persona that I am trying to convey. So it depends on what my goal is, but that's a good one. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing that. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, okay. How many hours in post did that take? All right. So Melissa's asking about this image. This image was created a number of years ago. It would have taken me a whole lot less time today than it did then. So uh, that image took me about 28 hours. It is, uh, I think it has 17 or 18 layers. So it is a lot. The original image was her sitting on a stool, and that bomb. I, I I had to guesstimate where her hands were supposed to be. I mean, I had the bomb already in on my computer hard drive, so I knew what bomb I was using. But I had to visualize it in my mind, approximately, big enough for her to sit on, and where would her hands be on it? And so that's where we came up with it. And I didn't have to manipulate her hands at all. That they were in a good spot. I got lucky. That image that's above her with the plane, that image here is the opposite side of that plane. She is on that, and I can't zoom this. I can't zoom in this image far enough. I guess I need to get rid of that logo because that's blocking part of it. But you can probably tell if you were able to zoom in enough. Right there on the nose of that plane, that's her. This is just the opposite side of the plane, but it is that plane. So that's what you're looking at there. That's a totally different image. I just added that to this image. And as far as that the sky, while I was working on that image, I just went outside and photographed the sky that day. Simple as that. Now I have a collection of a whole bunch of clouds that I can use, and so I don't necessarily need that any longer. But yeah, thank you for asking about that. I appreciate it. All right, so let me take that off. There we go. We're almost done. I want you to put in the comments one takeaway from what I've shared with you today. I love hearing how the information that I share with you each week is helping you. And so you're sharing it with me helps me. It helps it be even more worthwhile to me to share these things with you. It could be, just a comment about something that you saw or something you heard or something that you have done. It could be simple as, "Thanks for sharing this, Jim." Because hey, I just like everyone else, I like to hear people saying, "Thanks, Jim. I appreciate you." That would be just fine with me. But either way, I would like to hear at least some of you tell me what this means to you about visiting with your clients, about learning who they are, about how this makes a difference to you and your vision of your version of doing photography. Again, not the cookie cutter type approach, which is fine because it has its place. As we near the end of another Portrait Profit show, I want to state that as I stand there observing the reaction of my clients to the portrait that I have created for them that they're just now seeing for the very first time, I feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude, amongst other things. Gratitude for the opportunity to do what I love. Gratitude for the trust that was placed in me. And for the reminder that being genuinely interested in others, something truly extraordinary can be created. It's experiences like this that pushed me to do more, to continue seeking those hidden gems, Gems, not gems, hidden gems in my clients' stories, and to craft portraits that not only capture their likeness, but also their spirit. It reinforces my belief that photography is a fantastic tool for storytelling and connection. What we do as photographers is beyond what most have even imagined, even many photographers. So it's up to you to turn what hasn't yet been imagined into reality. There is transformative power in being genuinely interested in the stories of your clients. This is a lesson I hope you carry with you at all times throughout your career. That by seeking to understand, you can create images that touch hearts and tell stories that uplift and connect and last well beyond a lifetime. If you would like to spend a little bit more time talking with me about the topics we've discussed today or other business subjects, I want you to I want to invite you to take advantage of something that I do for my Portrait Profits friends, and that is a 45-minute coaching session. Now, I'm going to put that in the comments, but I want you to know I don't think I've opened it up yet. It'll be probably about 20 minutes that I'll open that up. But copy down this address and put this in the comments. And this should start showing up for you right now. But this is a 45-minute consultation. I charge only $80 for it, and that is a lot less than normal. It's $295 for an hour, and so this is a special deal for you guys to share your thoughts, to grow. We can talk about your price list, your marketing plan, all that kind of good stuff. But take advantage of this. A lot of you have already, but you deserve it. Your future deserves it, and at only $80, I mean. And if that is a lot, then we can delay it. That's fine. It's not about the money. That's why I have the price so low. In future news, I have an announcement to make. You guys have been watching, have already heard this announcement, but to those of you who are new, you haven't heard it yet. And the 11th annual San Antonio Photography Tournament is coming up next month on October 22nd, and you do have to get your tickets beforehand. It's pre-sale, so you don't show up that day having not let us know, because there's a lot of prep that we have to do. One is making you a name tag, but this is something I want to invite you to, and I'm going to put that address also in the comments section. Comments. Good. So you should start seeing that coming up in your comments now. But the address is photofun.eventbrite.com. You probably all heard of Eventbrite, but this is photofun.eventbrite.fun. And the reason why it's fun is because this isn't a tournament that helps us find out who the best photographer is. Nope. This is for those of you who are, I know some of you are watching from a long way away from San Antonio, Texas, but this is an in-person event. So this is for the greater San Antonio, Texas area. That is something fun to do for photographers of all levels, all levels. It's a diversion to spend with other fellow photographers. There's going to be prizes, certificates for winners. I'll tell you real quick how it happens. So you show up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we give you a list of the 15 categories that you can compete in. We go over the rules and we let you go. And then for about 3 hours, you go out and you photograph as many of those categories as you want to. You're going to be on at Confluence Park, right on this beautiful San Antonio River. And you can compete as many of the categories as you want to, all 15 if you want, just one if you want, totally up to you. But you submit your images before noon, because the judges get to work at noon. And by around 1:15 or so, we start announcing the winners, which means we're going to hand out certificates and prizes to all of the winners. We got a first, second, and third in each one of the categories, and then an overall and runner-up. And once we've announced all the winners, it's over. This is an instant gratification photographer's challenge. There is no popularity contest to see how many likes you can get on Facebook or how many loves you can get on Instagram. Nope. It's done that day, 100% in person. It does need to be done with a digital camera, though, because you've got to submit those images. And it's going to be done in JPEG. But your camera can do both JPEG and RAW, so you can still create in RAW like you'd like to. Just submit in JPEG. But this is a fun event, and I encourage all of you who are in the greater San Antonio area or who are going to fly in just for it to take a look at photofun.com. Now, as you know, the Portrait Profit Show is every single week, every single Monday. And I want to tell you about the shows that we have coming up. And those shows, let me put the one that's coming up next on the screen right now, activating your awesomeness, because you have it. You're a creative. You are awesome. We're going to talk about that, though, because too many of us awesome people are delaying success, and you're experiencing struggle. The time is now to stop just going through the motions and instead channel your passion, tap into your creativity, and run your life, your photography business with purpose and intention. I guarantee you'll walk away from this episode a week from today with a sense or a spark of inspiration, clear steps to shift your direction, and you'll start living as your best self. Activating your awesomeness. Put that on your calendar. I hope to see you a week from today. And then beginning October, we have 8 steps. That's October 2nd. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on just a second. 8 steps to an effective promotional campaign. And it wasn't, I forgot to do this title slide, so I'm doing it right now. It's easy, so why not? 8 steps to an effective promotional campaign on October 2nd. Can you believe we're almost to October? It's just right around the corner. Now, a promotional campaign. Now, this could be, as you see here, a 20% off discount kind of a thing. It could not, it's possible that there's no discount whatsoever. You get to choose what you want to do on a promotional campaign. Now, this is just in time for the holidays, so that you can do something for Halloween, something for Black Friday, something for Thanksgiving, something for Christmas. But there's a lot of stuff coming up, but this isn't geared just for the holidays. This is geared for just promotional campaigns? How are we going to get that message out? How are we going to cause people to know about what we're doing? Unlock limitless possibilities with our expertly crafted promotional campaign blueprint. From defining clear objectives to electrifying your audience's attention. Say hello to soaring success. This episode will make your business shine, you happy, and your wallet a lot fatter. October 2nd, 8 steps to an effective promotional campaign. And then on the second Monday of every single month, we change the time and we move it to 6:30 in the evening to accommodate our 3 guests. And we'll be talking about, let me bring that up on the screen. Our subject is making money with senior portraits. So we're going to bring on 3 photographers who photograph senior portraits. And they're going to share their secrets. So join us for the captivating live panel discussion where our 3 panelists will share their experiences. Don't miss out on this opportunity to hear money-making secrets from 3 senior portrait photographers. October 9th at 6:30 in the evening. Again, the second Monday of each month, we move it to 6:30 in the evening because we want to be able to have guests come. And not everybody, it's hard to get 3 panelists together during the day. So that's why we do it at 6:30. That's why we move it to that time. All right. So today, we've talked about to be interesting, be interested. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson today, this message today. I hope that you already knew the majority of it, but are emboldened and have gained something, that you are uplifted from the time because of the time that you have spent here today on the Portrait Profit Show. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, helping you excel in portrait photography in your portrait photography business through valuable tips and insights, helping you stay on track towards the success you deserve. Join us every Monday for evolving content as we unravel the mysteries of the business side of photography. Thank you guys for being here today. I appreciate you, and I enjoy watching you grow. Bye for now.